Dallas-based biotechnology company Colossal Biosciences, through genetic engineering, has resurrected the long-extinct dire wolf species, capturing the attention of the veterans of Game of Thrones. Standing out as the most influential fantasy TV series of all time, as well as being widely considered one of the best TV shows ever made, Game of Thrones notably features a pack of fictional dire wolves, who become the companions of the children of House Stark. This house's sigil is also a dire wolf. Dire wolves were once a widespread canine species across the Americas, inserted by George R.R. Martin into his writing. Upon hearing about the 3 pups Sal was able to birth, Sansa Stark actor Sophie Turner responded positively and enthusiastically about the extinction of dire wolves via Instagram. Turner called this event a monumental moment, not just for the return of the iconic dire wolf, but for science, for conservation, and for everyone who's ever dreamed of the impossible. BBC reported that the general internet likewise reacted with awe, thanks to the mythos dire wolves now inspire in the cultural zeitgeist. However, other scientists have expressed their concern about the development, what this means for Game of Thrones and dire wolves. Game of Thrones will boost positivity with this barrier between fantasy and reality being broken. Ghost with part of his ear missing looking sad in Game of Thrones Season 8. Scientists outside Colossal have criticized the company about what kind of effect preservation efforts can hope for from the extinction of dire wolves. Dire wolves have been extinct for over 10,000 years, and are really only such a widely known species because of Game of Thrones. Colossal has made a statement that its efforts at bringing back such long-dead species are in the hopes of having cascading effects on an ecosystem to improve stability, lift biodiversity and climate change buffering, according to BBC. Other scientists, though, think that resources would be better spent on presently endangered species. They would argue that an animal as far removed as the dire wolf is not as important as trying to reverse much more recent damage to ecosystems and barely surviving species. On the other hand, the public is likely to be awestruck by the real-life existence of dire wolves because of the groundbreaking TV show. In turn, this feat may bring attention back to Game of Thrones, when the franchise is already hardly dead, with the success of the prequel series House of the Dragon. Colossal is embracing the fictional connotations, as the 3 pups are named Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi, via Colossal.com. George R.R. Martin himself is an investor in Colossal and was brought in to meet the pups. This and Sophie Turner's comments will further boost the inspiring feeling of a little bit of the Game of Thrones saga existing in the real world. Additionally, while scientists may be concerned about investing in dire wolves specifically, Turner touches upon a salient point when talking about what this means for conservation. This technology is now a reality, and could also be used to revive more recently extinct species. Our take on Sophie Turner's dire wolves comments. It makes sense that this would be a huge moment for Game of Thrones actors and fans. Sophie Turner as Sansa walking with Lady in Game of Thrones. It makes sense that Sophie Turner, as well as many Game of Thrones fans, would be moved by the birth of the dire wolves when it is a personal touchstone in her life. As she says, "For 15 years, dire wolves have been a huge part of my life, but only in stories and on screen, until now." Turner even adopted the dog that played Sansa's dire wolf Lady back in Season 1. However, Turner is also not a scientist with years of research informing her. While this is a special moment for the fandom, it is one that will be considered with caution by others.